I used to daydream all the time in class, and I used to get punished for it. It seemed like the reasoning was that you have to be productive all the time. And this makes sense for school, because in school you can't have a bunch of kids wandering off and not paying attention to the curriculum. Everyone has to stay in line. But then I would go home and I would maybe watch TV or I would play video games, and I was consuming all the time. And it just got worse as I started getting older. There were iPods and then there were phones. And suddenly, as I got older, I would just be consuming all the time. It's as if there's a part of me that says, every single second of free time in my life needs to be spent consuming more information. I would sit and try to work and then feel overwhelmed, feel burnt out, and I wasn't sure why. And then I started to take stock of my life, and I realized that all of my time was spent either consuming or creating. There was no middle ground. There was no time when I was just left alone to my own devices. Like, even going down and cooking a meal, I would listen to a podcast or an audiobook. And so my brain really never had enough time to kick around some thoughts, to play with ideas, to just be. So recently I decided to run an experiment. When I was cooking dinner, taking a walk, journaling, whatever it was, I would leave my phone behind. I would just stop using it. And all of a sudden, I had a lot more free thought. I was more relaxed. There was less stress. The first thing I noticed is that I have a low-level fear of boredom. Like, it's a form of torture, but only a little bit. It's kind of crazy because I've been bored before. It's not the worst thing ever, but I really want to avoid it. In fact, I realized that I was staying up late at night because I wanted to avoid the boredom of sitting in bed and not being able to sleep. When we're bored, it means that our brain wants to do something. And generally, at least what I do, is I reach for a phone. That's my trigger. I reach for a phone as soon as I get bored so I can entertain myself. Now, when I don't have a phone with me, what I would do is entertain myself anyway. I would think of scenarios. I would create something. I would process an emotional situation in my mind. In fact, recently, I took some big steps in repairing some issues I had with a loved one, because I gave myself time to daydream about it. One of the biggest reasons that I think this is a good way to live life is because it's more in line with our evolutionary psychology. In the past, we didn't have stimulus all the time. Our ancestors likely had a lot of time to think, to sit under a tree and watch the sunset. And look, do I think that we should live lives just like our ancestors did, bopping each other on the head with clubs and dying of dysentery? Well, if it means less TikTok, yeah. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you guys. Next time you go for a walk, cook, do the dishes, do it without your phone. And then let me know how it affects your mental health and productivity in the comments down below. Have a good day.